Yes, a good evening, Andile, to you as well as our viewers out at home. I've crisscrossed the countryside of Germany now in a small, tranquil city called Dainsburg as our athletes have arrived here for the athletics part of the FISU World Student Games as well. But I have been able to keep touch with what's going on back home in as far as players' movements and the coaches' movements as well. With that said, let me get straight into it. Lehlonololo Siema. A story we broke on sabcsport.com early on Sunday morning that he would then be unveiled as the head coach of Siwelele FC. Now, Lehlonololo Siema has penned a long-term contract, I'm told, with discussions now ongoing for Andre Arendse, who was touted for this job initially before the club was sold to be his assistant coach. Grant Johnson could also remain. The entire technical team, in fact, as well as the medical team, could still be the same, with Siema the only person that's arriving. And maybe he might want to bring on a few, one or two of his own people as well. But I'm told Andre Arendse touted to be his assistant coach with the hope that Lehlonololo Siema will carry on up until they relocate officially to Mangaung. I'd love to hear what Dr. Khumalo thinks of this appointment by Siwelele FC.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess for Coach Lehlonololo, another leaf of isikhathi coach again. And again, it's good to see ukuthi abaklinanga the entire squad that yet laba from the super sport. But again, having said that, also to break it, ukuthi even Mark Williams has been roped in as a head coach of the DDC side.
Hey!
Yes.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
So Mark
Williams will be in charge for the junior team. Yeah. Yes, Siwelele.
You know, Doggy, I follow football. I love football. I literally every day.
Yeah.
I live football. I had no idea that Mark Williams is a coach.
No, he is. He got his badge in the UK. So he got his badge in the UK. I spoke to him.
Do you know what badge he's got?
I think it's a UEFA, if I'm not mistaken.
UEFA A.
Yeah. Not A, probably B.
Okay.
Yeah. So I spoke to him during the week, in the morning, to make sure, I don't tell our viewers the soccer zone among, but why should I time and talk, man? I'm qualified.
Let's go back to Germany.
Now, let's switch our attention now to Naturena. They launched a beautiful kit this morning ahead of the 2025-26 season. But I can tell you that there's other trouble brewing in the background. Kaiser Chiefs, along with Amazulu, signing Cape Town Spurs players Asanele Valabai as well as Luke Bartman, who they believed would be free agents. Usutu snapping up Liam Byrne as a free agent, or so they were told. But Cape Town Spurs are not taking taking this lying down, but they are in fact headed to the PSL dispute resolution chamber, and I have seen the documents. Submissions began this Monday morning and will carry on up until the end of the month before the chairperson of the DRC panel makes a decision on whether these players are free agents. My colleague Velile Mnyandu was out at Naturena this morning and got to speak to brand and marketing director out at Kaiser Chiefs, that's Jessica Mudaung, about this specific case.
I think what's important is that we are in the business of doing things in a way that's not going to interfere with other clubs. We want to follow certain procedures, and that relates to any other players that we're looking at. So we're taking a very professional approach in terms of integrating and bringing players into the team. So we'll make sure that we only make announcements when the time is right. So watch the space, but certainly we can't be engaging on players who are still with teams or are still contracted. Once there are any changes, we'll make the announcements.
Is there a legal process underway?
There's just a process, and that process will be followed, and once that process is done, we'll make an announcement.
Now let's leave Naturena for a bit and head out to Klorkop, where we expect that these news would be coming out over the next coming days as well. We know that they had released a couple of names, a couple of players. One to follow is Koba Melo Kodisang, a winger who arrived amidst much fanfare, signing a 5-year contract, but it's not worked out. I'm told by close sources out at Klorkop that the club is having a conversation with another counterpart in Portugal. The Portuguese top top flight to send Kobamelo Kodisang back to Europe in the hope that he can revive his career because at the moment it's not gone his way at Mamelodi Sundowns. It remains to be seen then whether they can get this over the line, but it would appear that Kobamelo Kodisang is not in the plans, but having signed a 5-year contract alone is the better option there at the moment, and we'll keep a close watch on that as well, even when we are here in Germany still. Let me finish off, Andile, by talking about Sekhukhune United. I'm led to believe now that they are open to offers for goalkeeper Ronaldo Lina. We know that he only really made an impact towards the tail end of the previous season with coach Eric Tinkler taking over. Now Lina also got a call up from Hugo Broos. He was in the recent Bafana Bafana squad in those 2 friendlies against Mozambique as well as Tanzania as well, getting his first cap. Sekhukhune United have goalkeepers, international goalkeepers, and they feel that Lina, having signed Tostan Sabata, might not get regular game time. But they are open to offers about this potential move that's being touted for Ronaldo Lina as well, a player that's knocking on that Bafana Bafana door. Andile, I've arrived safely in Germany, to be specific, in Düsseldorf, and then from Düsseldorf I then moved to Bochum, which will be my base for the next 2 weeks on a different assignment, something away from football, something entertaining as usual, but still in sports, as I cover the FUSU games, the Olympics of the university games, so to speak. But I still do keep an eye on our transfer movements, and the big news that we have, exclusive information that we got on coach Rulani Mokoena. We have been following this journey for a couple of weeks now, from those pyramids talks that stalled to now MC Algiers, as well as USMA, by the way, who were in the running for coach Rulani Mokwena's signature, but he's now decided to go to the Algerian champions, who will be in the CAF Champions League next season. That's a project that he's always wanted. So now, to confirm, coach Rulani Mokoena on a 2-year contract to MC Algiers, top flight in the Algerian league, and they will be competing in the CAF Champions League, that is the project that he's wanted for so long. I'd love to hear from the guys in studio what they think of this project that coach Rulani is about to undertake yet again in North Africa.
Okay, there's a question for you. MC Algiers is the team that Rulani has signed for. He confirmed it. He was on my show on Metro FM a little bit earlier today. It's a done deal. Yeah, congratulations to Coach Rulani, and we wish him all the best, because he's actually representing the South African flag. And having said that, he's joining a team that is have won League One as champions, and also they've won the Super Cup. So clearly he's getting to a team that is used to winning trophies. But there's more than that they ask him to deliver, the Champions League. Obviously, we know very well that this country, these teams, they really want to play in the Champions League. And more so now, the Club World Cup. Yes, and more so now, the Club World Cup. So now he is going to an alliance then, but with our prayers and everything, we wish him all the best of luck. Then now the sad part is just that Sid Romovic, he's coaching he's coaching Police that SA Algiers. So we should pass out Tangana. We're going to follow the story, and it's going to be a very close one. Let's go back to Mazola, out in Düsseldorf in Germany.
We move on now back home, Durban City. They've continued to assemble a strong squad. I'm now told Hashim Domingo in talks with Durban City, having worked with Gavin Hunt previously at Bidvest, recently left Cape Town City. Another story that we broke on sabcsport.com over the weekend. He's now landed in KZN in Durban to hold talks with Durban City to see if the two can agree terms for him to join that team that Gavin Hunt is assembling. There will be Darren Keat as well, who's agreed a deal in principle. Lorenzo Godinho, on and off, will monitor that one closely, as well as Tyson Tulani Hlachwayo. He's one of the key players that coach Gavin Hunt is also eyeing for a move to join Durban City as well. We move to coach Gavin Hunt's former team, SuperSport United, we do know that they parted company towards the tail end of last season due to a string of poor results. Andre Arendse taking over and saving their status, but that status being sold, and now, as we reported, called Siwelele FC. Now, the news around Siwelele FC is that they've asked Mamelodi Sundowns to consider that the players that they will be offloading out at Kloorkop could be heading to their crosstown rivals, as it were, because we know that Siwelele FC will stay in Gauteng for at least one season and then relocate the season after that. Now, they've written formally to Mamelodi Sundowns to ask that the players that they are going to offload, so to speak, be surplus to requirement, move over to Siwelele FC. I'd love to hear the guys. They've seen the Sundown squad. We've been doing transfer watch. There are some players that are not regulars out at Kloorkop. Which ones of those could be of good use for Siwelele FC?
Such a relation, they build over time. Siwelele FC is a new team. If they've written a letter to Sundown to say they need players, I'm sure the players need to, fancy to go there. So if they don't want
is that how it works, KK? Yeah, if Sundown say, hey, go on loan to Chippa, if you don't want to go to Chippa, you don't go to Chippa.
You can just say no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can't force you to go to Zebediela if you don't want to go. Oh. So players have to relay to your team. They must come to your team. You must sell them why are they coming to your team.
So what's going on Copa first dibs?
No. Unless the relationship with the player is that strong, and players will be saying, I need game time. Can I go help it?
Very lastly, because that's what Mazala in fact did ask. Yeah. Are there players at Sundowns right now that you feel perhaps could do with a loan?
Right now, I would love to see the coach. I have a conversation with the whole group. And Ibile Abale preseason with the whole group, because remember Abale preseason with this group, so it will be a good opportunity for everyone to impress a coach in a preseason. So yeah, after preseason, maybe. Let's
go back to Mazola out in Germany.
Now, our last story is with regards to the African champions. I'm talking about Banyana Banyana. Now, they are through to the knockout stages of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, but there's still that dark cloud that's hanging over Safa's head. Now, we've been told through our reporter who's done a stellar job in Mpumi Manyese in following this story closely, Banyana Banyana have been promised to be paid by tomorrow. That's Tuesday night latest, and we'll await to follow up whether this payment does come through. Remember, this is in relation to a payment due from previous camps, 2 camps to be specific, earlier in April and earlier this year in their national team camps in the friendly matches preparing for the Nations Cup. Now, they've been promised at least a part of that payment, and then soon after that they will hold discussion with regards to their bonuses at the AFCON, should they also go all the way and defend their title. Well, that's it from me here in Germany. For now, Andile, we'll keep it locked on all SABC platforms as I deliver news around the World Student Games and, of course, the Betway Premiership, as well as transfer movements, because the transfer window only shuts down much later in September.